Welcome, my fellow fans of Clash Royale. Thank you so much for stopping by Galadon Gaming as we are exploring my new Spin Cycle deck. Now, obviously, this isn't the first time this specific deck has ever been used. It's kind of like bases were in Clash of Clans. You can't claim ownership, but I'm calling it the Spin Cycle. As you can see, I lost with the PEKKA Double Prince deck, and I got a little bit tired of it, thought I would try this. Here is my log. It is good for some wins, but it also ends up with a lot of ties because it is a very defensive deck. But at the same time, I don't think it's a troll deck. It's not a bad manners deck because I am focused on getting to the tower using primarily the Hog Rider. And right off the bat, this is usually my strategy. Depending upon the starting cards, I will either rush one of the towers with the Hog Rider and the Zap spell, or I'll set down an Elixir Collector. And again, it really depends upon what shows up in the deck in the beginning. And I call this the Spin Cycle deck for a couple of reasons. One, of course, it's very inexpensive, just around 3 Elixir for this deck on average. And the other one is you're really cycling between offensive and defensive. As that Hog Rider comes around, you've got the cannon in there, and that really is pretty effective at stopping all sorts of attacks. Even with big units like Pekkas and Golems, you can use the Zap spell, those smaller units, as long as you counter any splash damage coming at you. You will have all of those small units able to take out just about anything that comes your way. Speaking of, here comes the PEKKA. We've done a little bit of damage over on the other side, but we've got the cannon available, and of course it goes up. That is going to draw that PEKKA in. And right here, a gutsy move. I go for offense while dealing with the PEKKA on the right lane. I throw a hog down on the left. The opponent had to use the freeze spell over there. Had he used the freeze spell on offense, I could have been in big trouble. Instead, I force him to use cards on defense. And sometimes the best offense is a good defense, and the best defense is a good offense would be the correct term there. Forcing your opponent to counter your moves enables you to defend more effectively against a big push that's coming towards your tower. So we both have Elixir Collectors up, kind of resetting ourselves, but that is the thing about this deck. There is no need to reset all the way to 10 Elixir like I've done so many times in the past. You can jump in there, send in a Hog Rider, and check that out. So much damage on that left lane tower with just the Hog and the Zap spell, and I'm still able to counter his counter push, getting that Prince down, and the Wizard not really worried too much about the Wizard. Obviously, on his own, not a big threat. The Hog moving in though, I grab him with the Elixir Collector, and that puts him within range of the cannon. Brilliant move if I do say so myself. It does cost me some health off the Elixir Collector, but saves it from the tower. And that is really what I'm focused on here, just trying to keep those towers at or close to full health. And he drops the PEKKA at the same time I drop the Hog, but the Zap spell lets that Hog get in there and almost take the tower down. The PEKKA and the Ice Wizard will take that Hog Rider down along with the tower, but that is less than a Zap spell remaining, so it's just a matter of stopping this push, stopping that PEKKA, and Prince, the Zap spell once again, cycling so quickly through cards. I'm able to get Zap spells up again and again and again. His freeze is too late, and that is going to be a costly error as we are in the last 10 seconds of this battle, and he really has no chance. The arrows take the tower down. Thumbs up. A well played, and this game is going to wrap up with a last-second 1 crown victory. Now, I do have to admit that the margin for error is very narrow in this deck, and what I mean by that is it's hard to play. It's very easy to make mistakes, and you guys know me. I am prone to making mistakes. So this deck can go really, really well if you play it right, or you can just get annihilated if you play it wrong. Now I am facing Solaka. I have played this guy probably more times than any other singular opponent. He went for the early push, but it's easily countered with my cannon, with the skeletons right there. And I've got the Elixir Collector. I'm going to go ahead and drop it on the opposite side since he seems to be pushing on the left. We'll drop the Elixir Collector over on the right and start to try to gain that advantage. Giant skeleton, but this deck again is great for grabbing the attention of a big unit like that. Despite the fact that the princess is there, we get her out of the way, and the cannon will stall that guy long enough. We'll lose the cannon, but that bomb got nowhere near the tower, and that is obviously the key. Once again, I've got the Hog. I like to have Zap ready because right there, you can stop whatever units they use to counter. Now those minions don't need to be dealt with. The tower by itself would be enough to get them down. We dropped the skeletons. That didn't really work out. That was a misplay. The goblins get right in there, and now the minions are going to get some damage on that tower. Arrows on the smaller set of minions, not a great trade, but at least we've stopped him. before too much damage happened, but believe it or not, we've fallen behind. But we do have the Elixir Collector on our side. Hog Rider moving in. He doesn't quite get to the tower. That was another fumble on my part. Again, this deck allows for a lot of mistakes if you're not careful. There's so many cards to be deployed. If you think about an average 3-minute battle, a super inexpensive deck like this is going to have you deploying far more cards throughout the battle, and that means far more chances for a mistake, like the skeletons that wander off on the left by their own. We are definitely behind right now, but here comes another hog, and I've got the zap spell in hand, ready to zap those minions. There it goes, the Hog Rider, several hundred hit points, down to about 600 now. And again, the minions are moving back in. This time, we pull a few off with a cannon rather than making the same mistake we did the last time the minions moved in along with those goblins. That worked out a little bit better. We've got the other minions down, skeletons in there. They don't work out. I'm not using my skeletons correctly, I have to admit. Not doing a great job. I've got to get better at using those skeletons where appropriate. Sometimes you can let them drag in behind a hog and they will get extra damage on the tower. And also they would be great for distracting this guy, the giant skeleton, and there they are, perfect. Pulling him away from the tower, holding him back there, dropping some more goblins. He's got a big push on the right-hand side. I use the zap to kind of stall things out, and then my minion horde is going to split up, and I'm able to completely stop the push down both lanes. And here comes the Hog Rider once again with the zap spell. Once again, this guy can't stop me. That was the third time he tried to counter the hog with minions. It did not work out. This time the Hog Rider moves in. I've got all sorts of buildings, and that's the other thing about this deck. Late in the game, I end up with the opportunity to put down so many buildings. Elixir Collector's cannons, there's no way he gets through, and another close 1 crown victory. So while I did say this deck is difficult to play, I also think that maybe it does let you make mistakes and still come out on top, as long as you don't misplay too much. And so once again, we're going back at it with the Hog Rider at the beginning of the match, dropping the zap spell, and right away I get a few hundred hit points off. Look at that tower, well below 2,000 hit points after the very first exchange, and the wizard not going to be very effective coming at me. Not real scared about that guy. We drop a group of minions, and it takes out everybody. They move forward, the zap spell misses a few, so the minions almost going to get through. And that was okay. That was my attempt at psychic arrows. It didn't work out, but nonetheless, look at that. 700 hit points, 40 seconds in left on that tower. So I was trying to predict that he might drop something to counter the minions, and that was definitely a waste. Don't do that. Don't go psychic. It's not going to work out. I just got lucky right there, and the opponent didn't have a big push to catch me off guard low on elixir. So right now, both of my towers looking fantastic. His tower severely damaged, and 2 minutes are remaining. Now I have to say there probably are times where you do know exactly what your opponent is going to drop, and you can kind of do it a little bit ahead of time. The arrows, though, I'm not making an excuse. There was no way that that was a wise move. Once again, skeletons get in there. They help take down the wizard before that cannon is gone. Not going to get to the tower, but with about 90 seconds left, I'm feeling pretty good right now. It's just going to take one more solid push to grab the last 700 hit points off that right-hand tower. So on defense, working on dropping elixir collectors, I'm going to go ahead and put a second one down because I felt like I had the time to do it. I haven't seen any giant pushes from this guy yet. He's got the Hog Rider, he's got the Wizard, and that seems to be about the extent of it. So we've got the Hog Rider in there, zapped. We are going to take care of that Hog Rider. He's got the Lightning spell, so now we see a Lightning spell. We know that we're going to have to deal with that. Obviously, the Elixir Collector's severely damaged, but again, still grinding out the Elixir. We are down into double Elixir. I've got 3 of them up on the map at one time, and the cannon. This should be an easy time at stopping any sort of push here. The Minion Horde, the Zap spell, we've got a big confrontation. Another cannon goes down, and we are on the move. Hog Rider underneath the minions. Yes, it's a minion umbrella, and as they move in, they get through the cannon. Hog Rider on the tower, and that is going to do it. There is the tower. The arrows go down. That doesn't really matter. Once again, I don't know. I fail on skeletons or arrows every single time. But in any case, it works out. The opponent just trying to lightning things now. In desperation, under 30 seconds left. I'm pretty sure he can't cycle through enough damage to get that tower down. He's going to have to get troops there. So we're going to focus on keeping him on the defensive a little bit with the Hog Rider on the left-hand side and building up those defenses on the right-hand side. The PEKKA, the Goblins on the left, easily dealt with. The Wizard, once again, really this deck was not going to work against me. And another lightning spell, but he has no chance. Time is going to run out, and once again, the Spin Cycle Panic deck takes another 1 crown victory. So let me know what you guys think. I am going to continue to push with this deck and variants of it and share my results with you guys in the near future. Let me know if you try it yourself and have any wild or crazy results. And as always, thank you guys so much for spending a few minutes of your day with me. I know your time is valuable and I hope I made it worth your while. And I hope to see you all back here again tomorrow for more full attacks. Galadon, you've stolen my dick once again. That's my dick and I invented it, not you.